She's a recording artist, an actress, a fitness coach, and a mom.
Label Elle Tisane. How are you doing?
I am good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm
I'm glad I'm finally here. You've been extending this invite.
Hey. But I understand. I mean, you label, you're busy. You've got flights to catch.
Hey,
countries to hit.
Hey. Thank you for thinking so highly of me. But yes,
No,
there's been a lot going on. But yes, like I'm so grateful that I could make it today. We've been talking about it forever. So finally, here we are.
So for me, friend, and I'm a fan. And I know who you are.
Oh, geez. Okay, let's get into it.
And it's so amazing. And I'll talk a lot about that because, I mean, I followed your career from probably, I can't say day one, but really from way back.
Yeah.
I doubt if there's anybody that doesn't know who you are.
So because also I've had so many names in the industry. You say Lebo, and that's Lebo is Re Lebogile. In fact, on the phone you kept saying Re Lebogile. That's me. And then there's Elle, who came out. So when I came out initially, I was labeled to everyone who knew me personally, and then I am Elle to everybody, and then. Because that's when I started Iskati Time, which I'm sure we'll get into. That's who I was. And then at some point on Muvhango, I was Lebu, which was a confusion now because Lebu is my real name. And then there's the character Lebu, and of course now again, Elle. It's a lot.
Well, maybe just talk to us about where you came from and a little bit of your upbringing.
Yeah. And I mustn't cry. There should be tissues somewhere, but no problem.
You're not gonna cry.
So, hopefully. I'm from Atteridgeville.
Yeah.
Ke tswa Pitori, ke ngwanyana wa ko Ashma, raised ko Atteridgeville, ko Ramokgopa, ko Black Rock side. So if you're a person who knows Atteridgeville, Pelendaba well, you'll know where Ramokgopa is. It's a main street, quite busy. And that's where my grandmother raised me, you know. I take pride in that, and literally molded me into the woman I am today. She was a dynamically hardworking, God-fearing woman, My mom was around, my aunts were around, my uncles as well, but the biggest cornerstone or foundation would definitely be my grandmother. She was the strictest woman you could ever meet, I wasn't allowed to speak to boys or be seen speaking to boys.
Good, grandma.
Yeah, I know she was great. And then next time go gating, she would have such a problem. Why let me go gating? Why let that any? Like there would be so many things. But I find myself mirroring her in a sense now that I'm a mom.
With your own kids.
With my own kids. There's certain things that I don't approve of. One of the things that she didn't like was friends coming, calling you, she doesn't see them, and then you disappear. Like my neighbors or whoever, a friend of mine comes to the house, then maybe and then I leave with that friend, but I haven't said anything to her. That was a traumatic thing for her because her firstborn, her son, actually passed away, was kidnapped and passed away because of such. So Lena, I'm that mom. Whoever comes to the house, and if my kids want to go out for play dates or whatever, it's got to be talked about with parents. I won't agree with my child. The parents must be in it. We must be the ones arranging. Flip, I digress, So I grew up in Atteridgeville. She raised me.
Yeah.
And went to church in Atteridgeville. That's me. I schooled in Atteridgeville and Pretoria town, and then I left.
So I also grew up in Palabora. I was born in Palabora. Okay. It's not my interview. I'm just trying to make a point.
I must come and interview you. I think it'll be good for your viewers.
I was born in Palabora and grew up there. But when I was 18, I moved to Soshanguve to come and study here at TUT now. Back then it was TNG. I became friends with a guy called SK Squad. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
We were from town the other day in a taxi, and he told me about you. That's actually my intro to you.
Oh, okay. That's how you met me.
That's actually how I met you. So it's like, there's this guy. Have you heard of Lebo? And he started talking to me about you.
Yeah.
How dope a singer you are.
Oh man.
He liked you. Really.
Yeah. I loved him too. He was an amazing singer himself.
Yeah.
SK was sure, yeah.
So he says to me, I think you were working with Bonsai and Dawn.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are busy in studio working on magic, and I think at the time we were talking about the Msawawas of this world at the time.
Yes.
but you stood out of that conversation. How was it like working at that fragile age with those geniuses?
Geniuses, they still are, So I got into this industry at around 2001, 2002. I actually met Bonsai and Dawn when I was in grade 11. I went to an audition.
Okay.
And that audition was for a group. They were putting together a group that was going to do some gospel contemporary music. But also what happened is that the group got so... it got exposed.
Yeah.
And then we started doing a lot of corporate work. So like the companies and stuff would call us to do covers of music and things like that. Matric is when I really started going in and out of home, and my grandmother was not having it. But I got introduced to professional singing around that time.
Yeah.
SK was part of us. Squatty was part of that group. It was called Company with a double E at the end. So no Y, but double E, right? And flip, we had some amazing characters in that group.
Yeah.
People that you might know now. Priscilla Sukwini, Tibello. Tibello is a gospel musician.
Yeah.
She was with Joyous,
she's
amazing soprano.
Yes.
So she was part of our group. SK, of course. Mthokozisi is now in a group with his family. Mthokozisi was part of our group. He's an incredibly humble human being, so talented, unbelievable. Fanny Ntlama. Fanny is actually a very close friend of mine, and brother. I feel like he's one of the people who raised me in the industry. And just personally, amazing guy, beautiful pianist. Stunning tenor. He was on some of my projects as well. Growing up in the years, and then there was Zaza Mugeti, the great Zaza.
Okay.
Yes, she was also part of us. Shalama, I don't know if you would know Shalama, but Shalama, I think at some point went overseas and also sings, also soprano, stunning soprano. Who am I forgetting? Kelly at some point joined us because Kelly is also from Bonsai Entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, so Kelly Khumalo. There's a lot of Kellys. So Kelly Khumalo, the Kelly Khumalo, was also part of the group at some point towards the end. And then there was I remember Obrita as well. Obripo. Obripo is Obrita is like a politician. Aubrey Po, who's an actor, a big time actor, has done a lot of these soapies and dramas in SA, but an amazingly incredible singer.
Wow.
You know, and not a lot of people know that side of his. We actually went to the same school. Went to TUT, all of us together. So I also went to TUT. But he did musical theater. I did music. What did you study? Since you mentioned TUT.
Business management. I was always business.
You're the money maker. Yes.
I had to take care of that gift.
You did. Yeah, no, you did. And you did well with that, because I know your music and like your background in music and the business had to definitely come together. So you've done well.
Yeah. Wow.
So we with SK, we met in that space, and of course I got to hang out with Don and Bonsai, both being, Don at some point was producing my music. So was Bonsai, but Bonsai was more my boss because he was my record label. You know, him and his partner then as well taught me a lot, you know. I think one of the other things that I learned growing up, and maybe this might help somebody watching, is just to always grab an opportunity. You know, whenever you're given a platform to sing or to say something, you know, God is very intentional about our journey. We don't realize that He's orchestrated a lot of the things. In fact, if not all of the things. I know that sometimes, because we're humans and we're given free will, sometimes we make decisions tailoring maybe you know, on the other way, in that they seem like they're wrong, you know. But God, in Romans, He says, for we know that all things work together for good, for those that love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. When you're given an opportunity, use it, like seize the moment and go for it, you know, because you don't know who's watching, you don't know who's listening, and that's basically how I got to meet up with these guys, you know.
You know, it's so amazing that a lot of people know you for the stuff you've done, and
musically,
but none of them know that you're also a pastor. But look,
friend, no, I'm not a pastor, not as yet. I am studying theology, but I'm not a pastor. But I think
told you.
I'm studying, and I feel like pastoring is also calling. It's about a calling. You know, you need to be called for these things. I am called. I might. Maybe I'm not supposed to say what I'm called for here, but I am called in the body of Christ.
Yes,
you know, and I just feel like every Christian, any individual who's been washed by the blood of Jesus, who's born again, you know, who is tongue speaking, you know, who
devil
knows
kicking.
God, devil kicking, come on.
Yeah.
Anyone who is in the kingdom, I do feel like all of us, we spoke about this, or we need to somehow just get into a theology course, a Bible study course.
We need to understand.
In depth. The parables tell or ring actually what was going on. So I'm on that journey. It's been a few months since the year started, so I'm enjoying it. It's really lovely.
So your solo career, as you know, as Elle, we have family friends from Botswana, so they came to visit us, and they saw you on TV.
Oh,
those people went crazy. I mean, they're not South African.
Yeah.
They're from Botswana. They went crazy seeing you on TV, and this is now back then.
Yeah.
When you started solo, they were like, everybody knew who you were. A little better than me. I was a little jealous, but so this, how did you now not necessarily break away, but move from a group setting to becoming Elle on your own?
God, honestly, because, and actually, you know, we talk about this quite a lot, or we used to talk about it a lot back in the day with Don and Bonsai and Sarah, because it would be it was also, you know, concerning to me. I didn't mention Nobuhle. There was another who's actually a cousin of mine, Nobuhle, who was also in the group, incredible singer as well. There were a lot of musicians in that group.
Yeah.
And it's a wonder how Bonsai at the time was working for a major label, record label. And he decided, and during the time he had just produced, you mentioned Msawawi, he had just done Shoza. And he decided at that time, or you know what, I want to open my own record label, you know. And he already had this group of singers. And for him to see me out of the group is still a wonder to me, honestly. Or how did we get to that, you know? But I'm grateful, and it can only be the grace of God. And I found myself sitting, having to call my mom and say, and by this time, it's first year, second year of music, right, of tertiary. And I now had to sit my parents down and say, look, I've been offered a record deal, and this is something I want to do. And I mean, even having the chat about studying music was also not an easy thing, but my parents were very liberal. I mean, they were very much, look, we trust you, we've seen that you are trustworthy, you are worthy of the trust, so go ahead, you know, you earned it. So it could only be God. And of course, my first single, then I featured Mshoza Sonto. May her soul also continue resting. You know, it's tough, man. You realize when you've got a few people that
list
you know
of people who
have passed, you know. Yeah, it's really sad. But we did Ungangi Moshel Iskati. Iskati Zamima. Yes, we did that, and we released it, and it was something special. If you lived back in those days,
I know.
It was something
I didn't
special.
know how to dance.
I still don't know how to dance, so don't be
But I know
ashamed.
the song was nice.
Yes, the song was beautiful. It was special. It really, it introduced me to everyone, I guess, in the music industry. It was pop at the time. I was doing pop and R&B, and there was an R&B version of the same song, you know. And it was a good time, you know. So I really feel that, again, God, you know, ordered the steps. God took care of me. I call myself one of God's brats, you know. He took care of me. He watched over me, just like he says in his word that he will, you know. He never left me, even when it seems like, you know, there are times when as a person you feel like, I'm going through so much. I wonder, Mudimu usaliteng na, you know, usaliteng.
Wow.
Usaliteng.
What didn't you like about that season?
I was young.
Yeah.
I don't know if I didn't like that I was young, but obviously in hindsight, there were a lot of things that I feel maybe I'm doing better now, you know.
Okay.
Self-assuredness, like that thing you're about confident in who you are and your belief system. I'm getting emotional about it because when you're young, a lot of the things just seem very let's just sign, let's just record,
with the flow.
Let's just go with it. But in all honesty, I think it's very important to just understand purpose and remember that there's where you're going, but also there's who you really genuinely and authentically are. So there were a lot of things that I feel maybe I could have done better, you know, because I would have been more assertive, you know. But at the same time, I look back and I'm grateful because an opportunity was given for me. And even in all the decisions that one made, they were not in vain. You know, I do feel like every decision I made at that time when I was younger, and everything, whether the genre of music and everything, it brought me beautifully to where I am today, and to who. I actually was on an interview not long ago. It was a very funny one, where the host asked me if I regret anything. You know. No.
Look,
none. I regret none.
I think the fact that you we know better as we
grow.
As we grow older. Well, some of us are still yet to grow, but because we're still very young.
We're young at heart.
Oh,
I know I'm young at heart. I get shocked when I get
right.
given my age. Oh, that's how old I am.
Yeah, no, I don't believe them. Yeah. I think you are allowed to be young.
Absolutely.
But also, it's a blessing to grow. Somebody said, old is the goal.
Yeah. And to really, not to, also in your prayer, mention to God how you don't want to prematurely go.
Yes.
It's very important to think about that, and to be mentioned with, and to be dreaming those dreams. Old men dream dreams. And to be part of that generation that will get to dream. It's a blessing.
Wow.
We're not old yet, though.
Oh no, far from it. Far from it.
No.
Level, you're a multi-talented, multifaceted person, and you own it. And I find that everything you touch, you excel in it. And okay, let me not talk about fitness. We'll talk about fitness because
we must talk about fitness.
People need to know that, hey, some people know how to reverse age.
Yeah, we must talk about fitness. It's very important.
But I want to talk about your acting, man.
Yeah.
I want to talk about your acting. How did that come about?
Yeah, okay. So in the journey of, actually even before I became when did we go to Backstage? I got exposed to Backstage. I think we were still a group.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And then it was such a, I remember getting on that set and thinking, wow, one day, but it was back of my mind. I couldn't believe that I was in a space like that, and I got to be exposed to how film or drama is made and portrayed on the screen, and we get to, see the small box and see, but then I have that mind, I was there, and I know how it's actually made, and this is what goes on behind the scenes until we see it on our screens, right? And I remember just noting it in my head, this is something special. By the way, I actually missed my matric dance, my own matric dance. Wow. To actually be a part of the shoot, Yako Backstage back in those days, right?
I think it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was worth it, definitely. Oh, it was worth it. And then I got a chance to then have my music play on Backstage, right? Nobody but you.
Hey.
Yeah, so everybody, if you don't know Nobody But You.
Oh no, you are hiding behind a rock or something.
I think we'll forgive you for not knowing Ungang Mosheli's Kati.
Yeah.
But Nobody But You. Oh, you have to know Nobody But You, right?
Yeah.
So I got a chance for that to be played. And throughout my career, I obviously got opportunities to also sit with people like yourself, professionals that are, interviewing me. And I got onto a radio station once where I got interviewed. It was about my music. Obviously, that's all I've been going around for interviews for, right?
That's what you were selling.
That's all I was selling. Yeah. And I don't want to mention the radio station, but I was on a certain radio station, and as I'm having this interview, I get a call they open up, obviously, lines for listeners to call and ask questions or comment or whatever. Yeah. And then there was a call that came through, a lady called Mamshero Twala.
Yes.
Called.
Yes.
This was just like, what? And this, if you know the Shadow Twala, it was just an incredible moment for me. She called saying, I like how that young woman sounds, a young lady. At the time I was still in my teens, was I? Yeah, or was I 2021, around that time. I love how she sounds. I'd really like for her to audition for something that I'm busy with right now. She was busy with a musical production theater that Ntate Dumagandlovu was going to be producing and directing. And so she was like, I'd really would like her to come through and just borrow us her voice, and audition for a part. I went to audition, and it was a yes, I auditioned to be a young version of Miriam Makeba.
Wow.
That was incredible, and we got to tour around. Sadly, we didn't really perform much of the journey. It's called The Journey here in SA, but this was basically about the time, the musical geniuses and giants of South Africa, and of course the 1976 issues and students and all of that. So it was a beautiful time, and we got to journey to Switzerland and whatnot, just showing that production, right, with amazing people, very talented humans and young people who are great names today. And from there, because I had met Ntate Duma, he then called me, and we had worked so well together. He then called to say, look, I do a little drama called Muvhango. It's a vendor drama at the time, but then it got on, obviously, to become a soap, soapy within South Africa. And I got an opportunity to play a little role there as well. At the time, back then, I was just a young waitress, Lebu. And she was very nosy.
She was.
Hey, was always in everyone's business. So that's how it started. I literally found myself by just default within that space.
Talk about steps being ordered.
Wow. But another thing I learned, friend, about this industry, the entertainment industry is very tricky. When you do get that opportunity to come in, diversify your portfolio. Like find who you are. What are you good at? Are you a good speaker? Do you speak well? What is it that are you good at? Acting, dancing, what do you do? And whatever it is that you're good at, even if it's dancing, get a coach, and do more of it, like amplify it, get more experience and knowledge on it, so that you can then get into other spaces within the bigger scope of what you thought you were going to do. I mean, I trained as a presenter as well, and this is just because of seizing the moment and understanding I'm not a bad speaker, so let me maybe
oh no, you're not a bad speaker.
let me maybe do something that is along those lines.
Wow. So that's how we got to see. Any more acting for you? Would you really want to go back there? Movie? Soapy?
I did a movie. It was a Christmas special. Sure, and they keep repeating it. Kana Kota Christmas. It's called Second Chance. I keep seeing it. My kids actually saw it I think 3 years ago, and it was like, what? Ma, is that you? And obviously I look much younger and nice and chubby, And I went back onto Muvhango as well recently. My character came back as a grown, so Lebu got back onto Muvhango as a grown person, not just a waitress anymore. And she was a business person, and she was very, very sinister and a troublemaker. The Mukwebos were not happy about her at all. They really just wanted her out of town, basically. So yes, my agent will tell you that she's always on my case about auditions and so there should be more acting in the near future. Yes.
You have an interesting life, really. Some of us who've watched you grow, we can actually attest to say, look, you've had an interesting life, and we thank God. I mean, I'm blessed to be sitting next to you, really. But you decided to do gospel. I mean, you made hits. Like, everybody must recognize that you've made hits doing R&B, pop. and you decided, okay, I'm gonna go back to doing gospel.
Yeah.
What inspired that?
And I love that you say, I'm going to go back to doing gospel, because it wasn't something that I had left and let it be known. Because I've always been a person who serves ko kerekeng. So before getting married and all of that, I grew up in church, you know, and I've always sung ko kereke. That's where we all sort of realize we have something. There's something, you know. There's some sort of talent. So that's how I discovered, or I can sing better than just the love of music, you know. So yeah, I decided to really look. I need to be where I should be, where I know I will make. I will touch lives and change lives. It's one thing speaking about love, and the world needs love, you know, big time. And with R&B, most of my music was basically based on, you know, love and all of that, and good time, have a good time, let's party, you know. But parties end.
Oh, it's time to go home.
And it's time to go home. And who are you, you know, outside of that, you know, outside of the parties, and what's the message, what are you saying to other people? And because purpose and understanding that God has all called us to be fishers of men, it was very important for me to be able to articulate that, you know, in my music, in my being, who I am, you know, to say God loves you, you know, to somebody else, even if it's through song, you know. God loves you, and God has, you know, the best interest at heart for you, and wants your life to change, you know, for the better. God wants to have a relationship with you. And for me, there is no better way to articulate that than to, you know, think back and look back to where I came from. I came from the prayer warrior of my grandmother, and who literally loved and trusted God throughout her life. And that's what I decided, you know, that's the next best thing.
It's time.
It's calling.
It's time. It's calling, yes. It's destiny.
It's purpose.
Wow.
Very important.
So, look, I can't let you go before we talk about fitness.
No, you can't. I won't even want to go before I talk.
You know how to commit.
I do. I've also been married for 16 years. That tells you I know how to commit.
I don't want to butcher your surname, your husband's surname, well, your surname.
Ragimana.
Ragimana.
Yeah.
Ragimana is a blessed man.
Yes,
she knows how to commit.
Yes, he is. And he knows he's a blessed man. But I'm highly favored as well. Super blessed to have him. He's amazing.
Yeah. So now I'm thinking to myself, there was a time where I was, if I call myself fat, I'm not body shaming, right? Nobody can come after.
Because you're doing it.
Because it's me. It's
self body shaming. You're the one doing it. As long as I'm not saying it, it's okay.
So guys, I was gaining weight, not knowing how to deal with it, and I had to call the pro.
Hey.
I'm like, dude, help. But your love for fitness.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
It actually, maybe when you say fitness, Kabila, you are elevating it to another level. So I had my first child after getting married, and I was drastically overweight. Which was a place I couldn't identify with, because I honestly was just, it was a strange place for me to be in. I couldn't recognize myself. I was in there somewhere. Not Chilenda, but you know, I had never been overweight. So when I looked at myself in the mirror, I couldn't recognize who I was. Brand, it was out of hand for me. But also even my feet, you know, I had changed shoe sizes, and pregnancy is a thing, eh? I mean, speak to any woman, they will tell you. Or it really does a number on us. Mentally, emotionally, we change. We are not the same young girl, you know. After your first pregnancy, you really, things change. So I felt like I was trapped in that cover that I was in at that time. And even my husband actually attested to that. Like my husband said, I'm worried for you.
Sure.
I'm worried for you because you're no longer this bubbly person I married. You're no longer that
confidence go away.
Confidence was gone. Self-esteem. I didn't really love who I was, what I was seeing. And he said to me, look, babe, find out, what you need in terms of support from me. And I will do it. Whatever it is that you make. Remember, women, we are the ones that are in charge, really, of what you eat in the house and all of that. So
you're the ones who cook.
We're the ones that do that. We literally are in charge of the home. You are the heads, but we run that place, right? So and he said, look, whatever it is you want me to eat, I'll eat it with you in support of your goal. I understand we've just good guy, but it was a tough conversation to sit and listen to, And he said to me, I understand, you've just had a baby. We've just had a baby. I get that, but we're not the first people to have a baby. We're not the first. We're not going to be the last, but we must still take care of ourselves. If we want to raise this baby and many others, we need to take care of ourselves. And that clicked, and I cried. I'm a very emotional person, and that conversation was tough for me, to stomach, but I heard him. And one thing I want to tell your viewers and everybody, it's important, especially when you are in a marriage space, to understand that you have now committed yourself to having a witness in your life. Somebody who's going to be witnessing your highs, your lows, your in-betweens, So when they do say
it
something...
doesn't mean that I like it all the time.
No. Right?
But yes,
right?
but they're there for a reason.
For a reason. You are not going to like it all the time. Mara, you're definitely going to have to listen because you are living with that person. There is a reason, right? So I heard him when he said that, and it took a few days for me to digest. And I remember venting and saying to him, you don't think I know? I'm the one living in this body. Where you're telling me I'm the one that carried, it's my body that went into the shock it went into with this baby. You understand? I shouted out as well. Like I screamed and said things back. He didn't just talk on his own, But after all of that, I knew I had heard it. Yeah. And it was time. And so I went out there and read up a lot about nutrition, because the biggest thing is what we eat.
Oh yes.
In terms of fitness, you just need to know that you must move every day. Make a good 20 minutes. If you have more in your time, do more, but you need to keep your body moving. You don't need a gym membership, but you need to move. If you are a person who's sedentary or somebody who sits and does not go to gym, doesn't work out, doesn't do anything, you need to find an activity, whether it's skipping, whether it's walking, and we all live in complexes or whatever, or where we can literally just walk and come back. A good 20 minutes brisk walk is going to take you a long way. So for me, that's what I then started to do. I got introduced to good nutrition. And then I started walking around my complex. I saw results just by learning how to eat, because 80% will always be the stuff you put in your mouth. Remember, you eat more than you exercise. So fitness is good, but your nutrition is very important. From there, I fell in love. After my second child, I knew what I was doing. Like I was not depressed. I got back to because I knew what I was doing. Fell in love with fitness to a point, and nutrition to a point where I went and studied personal training. I did a small course on nutrition and fitness, the importance thereof, and that's what I do. So I also run a health and wellness company that helps people get back to shape,
And you took me hiking, and I almost passed out.
But you made it.
I made it.
The point is that you made it, right? And here you are, looking great, glowing, living your best life. Guys, you need to, it's bigger than us, this thing of even family. Having family you need to love them enough to take care of yourself. It's not enough to just be providing as a father, as a husband. It's more than that. You need to take care. Your wellness is very important. Body, mind, and soul. You know, what is your core in terms of your spirit? That's very important. What is your core? Where do you lean on in terms of your physical health? This is very temporary, but while it is housing you here on earth,
to take care of it.
Hallelujah, you really need to take care of it, you know. So that is something that you need to remember as you are making your sandwiches, you are, you know, drinking your next drink. It's a choice
as
that
you pull
need
that
to,
second plate of pap.
you need to choose, you know. But love yourself, but more than anything, love your family enough to take care of them, to take care of you for them, because they will have you longer.
Oh, wow. I think on that note, thank you for saying yes.
I'm happy I said yes. I will be remiss if I leave without saying to you that you need to download Siyabonga Baba if you have not heard it yet.
Hey, please talk about that.
Don't forget
preach
that.
on that.
Yes. So I have just released, it's been a while now, released a single called Siyabonga Baba. It's one of the olden sounds, right? A song that we've all grown up on, right?
Personalized to her. Oh my God.
Yes, and it's a beautiful song. Siyabonga Baba is on my YouTube channel as well, so you can get it on the Elle Tisane channel. You can get it on every digital platform where music is sold or streamed. You can listen to it there. And then there's an album coming out, Women's Month. Look out for that. There's an EP that I'm releasing very soon. I don't know when this is gonna air, but around mid-June there'll be a release of the rest of the EP. That's where Siyabonga comes from. So there's 2 other tracks that come with that. And then in August, Women's Month, I'm going to then be releasing the entire album. It's a nice bite size, because we're in a generation now that doesn't take a lot of things, because they give you instant gratification type thing, you know. So it's about an 8-track album that was recorded with a lot of love, and God is going to bless you as you look out for that, and as you hear that. I'm grateful I came through. Thank you.
Wow. So guys, go, what do we call it? Stream and download the Siyabonga Baba song, and just be on the lookout for the EP and the album in August. Elle, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tim.
I'm privileged. I'm very, very privileged to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Elle, actually, label Elle Tisane, ladies and gentlemen. Po.
Yay! It says, I will never stop praising you. mishumo yao yothe ndichirizi na chirizi ndichirizi. It's by His grace na chirizi. Yes, Lord, ndichirizi na chirizi. So it's a song of grace. Wow. You're not Venda speaking, so you wouldn't know.
Amarandia Chifa.